Mr. Ashok Agarwal, that a draw of lots seems to be the best option if it can be done for the EWS category. Why not for the general category? So I also wanted to speak to you about that case that's coming up in the Delhi High Court today. Of course, this entire age issue has been such an issue for all these years, whether it's 3 or 4. You believe that it has to be 4 because otherwise it's violating the Ganguly committee.
Entry-level class must be 4 plus, not below 4 years. Bring in child, in other words, you are forcing parents to get a child admitted at the age of 2 years, 3 years. This is a compulsion.
Yeah.
Why it is a compulsion? It should be an optional.
Yeah.
If some parent wants to send their child to crèche at the age of 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, we have no objection. But as far as the formal education is concerned, in fact, it is supposed to be start from class 1, age 5 plus. But keeping the anxiety of the parents and so many other development may be related or not related, the Ganguly committee, which was appointed by the High Court, said that there should be only 1 year of pre-primary where 4 plus child will be admitted. And if you admit any child in preschool where 3 plus child, that will have no linkage. The child will not be entitled to promotion. The idea is to get to done away with all this playway system where parents are being forced to bring their children, because still there is a survey which says in our country 85% families are such that they can keep their children in their house, and that is very good.
Okay. We also have a caller who is joining us. Mr. Bhushan, go ahead with your question. Mr. Bhushan, good morning. Can you hear me? Mr. Bhushan is calling from Rohtak. We are not getting him through.
So there is one more lies to see. Apart from the fact that this point system and this categorization system goes against the provisions of Right to Education Act, which really protects the interest of the child. Now within the category system or with the point system, a lot of funny things are there. If your child is born within this 3 months, 10 point, within this 3 months, 15 point, if this is 3 months, then if you are vegetarian, if you are not vegetarian, if your father was studying in this school, or if your grandfather was studying in this school, or any relative was studying in any of the sister school of this, then you will get all this. This is all discriminatory.
One more question. This is Mr. Mehrotra. So go ahead, Sameer Mehta. Sameer, go ahead with your question.
I'm Dr. Sameer Mehta, and I've come here to collect the form, nursery admission form for my kid. I'm in the same boat as many, coming early in the morning, getting up, coming here, studying for a couple of hours, and I think all schools, many have done the system via online, and I think this is the time for all the schools to do the same, because it's very difficult there's no need for so long a queue.
Okay, we also have a caller. This is Krishnan from Chennai who's calling us. Good morning, Krishnan. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, morning. Basically, if you had seen all through our life, the recent upper middle class and the higher class, we all had our formative education basically from government schools. It's not that we all had high school from public schools or something like that. Probably the basic problem that is happening around is the government is not concentrating on its own schools. We are paying hefty salaries, a 6 pay commission, 10 pay commission, whatever you call it. But ultimately, the deliverance of high quality education by the teachers who are serving in the government is not coming to the children, which is forcing the parents to go to the private schools. That is the precise reason why there is a mad rush to the private schools, and the schools are charging on a commercial basis. This is something the government has to, or more than has to, must concentrate on its own schools. Instead of going for a greater RTE, whatever you call it, if it concentrates something right under its nose, you got a problem which is solved. And mind you, we have all been, almost about 80 to 90% of the upper middle class who have gone to the IITs or something like that, they've all gone through the government schools. And I'm absolutely sure the government must precisely think on this.
Right,
I
Mr.
can
Krishnan?
see it is happening in Chennai and almost even in Delhi. I have been in Delhi for quite a long time.
Right, we get your question, sir.
I
Mr. Ashok?
fully agree with Mr. Krishnan.
Yeah.
He is right. Even I have studied in a municipal school in Mehrauli, Delhi, and thereafter in Punjab also I have studied. I passed class 8 from the government, and thereafter I studied in an
So
elite
how
school.
have things really changed that now it's so much about brand?
It is all
It's so much
designed.
about whether they have horse riding, it's so much about...
According to me, it is all designed. It is a hand in glove between the government and the
So you
private
blame the government
schools.
for it?
They have deliberately promoted private schools at the cost of government schools.
Okay.
And now the situation is such that even the lowest paid employee or a person does not want to send his child to the government school, and he is compelled to send the private school. But I say that if all we have in the government system also, we have good school like Kendriya Vidyalaya.
Yes. And in fact, most of the toppers come from these schools.
Why can't we have all government schools of the same level of Kendriya Vidyalaya? You do it, and I can tell you that within 48 hours, 50% of parents sending their children to the private school will withdraw their children and send it. But the government has no intention to do it.
Okay. So, sir, if we look at the number of schools in Delhi and NCR, they are about 4,500. So you're saying that if there wasn't this thing about running behind the private unaided schools, then there won't be this madness for everyone would get a seat every year?
No, they should, in fact, they should get it.
Okay.
Why don't you have an adequate number of schools, good schools? The people are not bad. A parent, whether poor, rich, educated, uneducated, is very wise. When the question of his education of his child comes, he selects a school which is really good for the child.
Right.
Why don't you have all good schools in neighborhood? The government, it is an obligation of the government.
Right.
Government is abdicating his responsibility for the last 60 years, more than 60 years, and still even after right to Education Act, etc., I don't see any serious effort being made by the government to see that the government schools are improved and become so attractive that every child or every parent would like to send his child to the school.
Right, sir. I guess we'll end on that note. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, there we are for almost 10 years talking about nursery admissions. We're talking about the age. The case is coming up in the Delhi High Court this morning. But how long are we really going to continue with it? The government has to take note on improving the infrastructure, improving and promoting government schools when actually it's only the private schools which see all the rush. Thanks for joining us on our special. More news follows in just a bit.